after the vessel was initially hit, there were two survivors just helplessly flailing in the water, and they hit him again, and that was murder and a war crime. You know, as I look at the news events of the week and of the past few weeks, I always have to figure out now, what does the media think that's important versus what actually is important? Or stories that the media are pushing, are they important in the way they think they are important, or is there another agenda at work that you should consider as you look at the news? And one of these stories is the issue of the President Trump's and the War Department's efforts to shut down the drug cartels using international waters in terroristic ways to undermine America and attack America through drug dealing and other misconduct. And they've been taking out the drug dealers using our military. And the Washington Post had a story that got a lot of attention here in Washington. This is kind of what I'm wondering. It's like, well, did you pay attention to it, dear listener or dear viewer? And I suspect you didn't pay nearly as much attention as the establishment here in Washington paid to it. And the Washington Post story generally was, oh, Hegseth told the military that they needed to kill everyone on board a particular vessel. And in following his orders, after the vessel was initially hit, there were two survivors just helplessly flailing in the water, and they hit him again, and that was murder and a war crime. Now, I'm paraphrasing, but that was the story. And all the experts pretended to know what had actually happened. And after the harumphing from Congress and the usual suspects in media, more information came out about what actually happened. And it turned out the Washington Post story is false in all material respects, in the sense that the initial hit did not accomplish the military goal of taking out the boat and the narco-terrorists associated with it, and they finished the job with the second hit. Nothing inappropriate about it. And it wasn't the liberal media that echoed the Washington Post. They actually said the Washington Post is wrong. So you had the New York Times, ABC News say the video shows something different, the evidence shows something different, and there is no there in terms of the fake allegation that a crime occurred. I mean, when you've got the Washington Post with the echo chamber here in Washington, D.C., essentially saying that war crimes occurred targeting Hegseth, Trump by imputation, and leadership in the military, and who knows who else in the military down the chain of command, that's a pretty serious issue. And it was all a scam. What was behind that scam? What's the basis of it? Well, I would take you back to the seditious efforts to target our military and suggest that the military, by members of Congress, ignore presidential orders. Sure enough, within a minute, the Washington Post has this, what I believe to be a fake news story, as I highlighted on the internet, false in all material respects. And what is the goal? The goal is to create dissent in our military. So it's all part of this seditious conspiracy. But when you start falsely accusing the president, not only in this circumstance, but generally, of engaging in, quote, human rights abuses, in, quote, war crimes, or targeting people like Pete Hegseth and other officials of the administration with these vague allegations of war crimes and violating the laws of war, etc. I suspect what the plan is, not to prosecute him here at home. I mean, they do want to impeach Trump. That goes without saying. They'll try to prosecute Trump for all sorts of other reasons, probably resurrect the fake lawfare allegations they used to try to rig the election last time. But I think their goal is to have them tried abroad before these International Criminal Court or some type of quasi-judicial kangaroo court at the transnational level. And that's what I think is happening. They are worried that the president might have immunity or that people like Hegseth might get pardoned, and they won't be able to pursue them as they wish to here in the United States under our system. And the way to get around that is to do what the left likes to do, which is to create new systems to try their political opponents. The law doesn't matter. It's just creating a new system to get it done, however illicit or not serious. And then you get people like, for instance, Mandami. Am I pronouncing his name correctly? I think I am. The incoming communist terrorist supporting mayor of New York, who, for instance, talks about wanting to arrest Bibi Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, if he's here, so he gets tried for war crimes. Do you not think people like Mandami are going to be unwilling to arrest Trump or Hegseth in part of an effort to get them sent overseas before these kangaroo court international tribunals? You betcha. Do you think that a Democratic Party-controlled Justice Department run by a Democratic Party president won't allow that to take place? Of course they will. So I think this is a situation we have to be very much aware of as we evaluate these stories. A, the Washington Post story was fake, but remember, it's not just human rights abuses that they're alleging in taking out these narco-terrorists. They allege human rights abuses with removing illegal aliens from the United States. They allege human rights abuses with just deploying the National Guard to protect life, limb, and property. So they're creating categories of violations of alleged laws and principles that would justify some sort of international left-wing controlled tribunal to try and jail President Trump and other individuals in the Trump administration. Now, does it mean that's the only goal they have? No, of course not. I mean, they'll probably try to do some similar activity here, with their regenerated lawfare if they come back into power, or even before they come back into power. We don't know that. So that's the way I would evaluate this whole issue with Venezuela or dealing with the narco-terrorists on the high seas, like we used to deal with pirates, which is you take them out. They're trying to justify a war crimes tribunal overseas to jail our president, to jail people like Hegseth. And a pardon is going to protect them. That's the thinking. So admittedly, this is a bit of speculation. But like I said, I don't know how much anyone's following all this, because this is a lot of hyperventilating by the usual suspects who get outraged about everything Trump does. And they thought they had Hegseth with this fake allegation he was somehow involved in war crimes, and it turned out to be bunk. Now, even though it is bunk, they all think it's true, or they're going to pretend it's true. So that's the other danger here. Just because the story is false and there's no evidence behind it, it's not going to stop them. It didn't stop them with Trump, with the last go-arounds with lawfare, which continue in large measure, by the way. And it's not going to stop them in the future. So that's the way to think about the controversy over the videos of the boat that our military took out full of drug traffickers. Or at least that's the way I think you should think about it. So, and you can be sure that we'll be investigating the underlying issue to try to get the full truth as appropriate under law, to highlight the falsity, or I think it's going to highlight the falsity if they give us the records, of what the left is alleging here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.